Anthony Joshua's got a big fight coming up with Jermaine Franklin. Obviously, he's on the comeback as well. He's looking to come back from back-to-back losses against Alexander Usyk. Do you feel Anthony Joshua has the character and the mindset to come back and get back to the top of the tree in the heavyweight division?
That's a very good question, and I don't know Anthony Joshua enough to say, yeah, he's that kind of warrior that's going to come back and all that. But you look at it on a skill level where he falls in, and right now, I look at him as an A fighter, not an A+ fighter, but an A fighter. So he's capable of winning, but then he's also capable of losing. Depends on more on the mindset than the physical set. Because physically he can fight.
There's a press conference yesterday over here in the UK, and he's almost changed his persona a little bit. And somebody had asked him what's his motivation to come back for this fight, and he said money. Now we know boxing is a business, but would that worry you if somebody who has dedicated their life to be a world champion, and of course he's been there twice, two-time world champion, but now he's saying it is money motivated? Would that bring a worry to you?
Yeah, I always tell people always want to ask me about being a cut man and all that. And I said, look, you got to do this and this and that. But I always say, if you do it for the money, you do it for the wrong reasons, and that goes for anything in life. If that's the route that Anthony Joshua's looking at, like say, I look at numbers, and as you look at that money, then you check that one off. All right. That's one negative thought, so that's where I look at everything in perspective. I always try to be neutral in my thinking. I have to be neutral. And I always say that in this game, the only thing that counts is the truth. But then you base it off of numbers. All the truth is based off of numbers. And, if you're going in there just to fight for the money, then you're going to get paid whether you fight for one round or whether you fight for 10 or 12. So what do you want to do? Is it easier for you to quit at round 6? Or do you want to go the distance? I don't know. So that's a good question. And yeah, who's training him? I don't even know who's training him.
He's now just joined with Derek James, trainer of Errol Spence.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll see.
Absolutely. Obviously, good friend of yours, Tyson Fury. There's always a lot of speculation about the two of them colliding at some point down the line. There seemed to be some talks previously that broke down. Do you think, firstly, we'll ever see that fight? And secondly, do you give Anthony Joshua a chance of beating Tyson Fury?
I worked with Vladimir when he fought Tyson Fury, and I'm thinking, I'm judging him by his body structure, right? I think we all were. And we were all a little on the shock side of how he beat Vladimir. And but then I saw him fight Deontay Wilder. And when I started working with Tyson Fury, I said, I now understand why you beat Vladimir, because you could fight. A very, very good fighter. Can he beat Tyson Fury? Chances are, like I say, once again, when you're looking at numbers, they fall below the positive side. He's just good, and such a good kid. I like Tyson Fury, and as a matter of fact, I just turned down the Jake Paul and Fury fight because I'm doing the premiere for the Creed movie. So it would have been nice to see Tyson Fury there, but we'll see him somewhere.
Absolutely. You come on to my next point, Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. In terms of Jake Paul, as he's come over from the influencer side of things and the YouTube crowd, and there seems to be a lot of momentum on the influencer boxing scene at the moment. What do you make of Jake Paul's introduction into boxing and what he's doing in boxing with the likes of Amanda Serrano?
I think it's great. The thing with Jake is slowly but surely he's getting more involved in combat sports, trying to unionize the fighters, trying to get at least an association, maybe insurance, So Amanda, now he's with Amanda Serrano, but he's getting deeper into the picture. I worked with KSI when he fought Logan Paul. I worked with Anson Gibb when he fought Jake Paul. I know the brothers, and when I first met them, the thing that impressed me the most, that I knew that they were in this game for the long haul, is they were both wrestlers. And when I had a school of kickboxing, wrestlers made good fighters, but they are, but they understand the whole game. So Jake Paul can fight. And, I break it down as to peel the onion back and who's training him. Well, BJ Flores, I've worked with it before as a fighter and as a coach. Now they got Danny Smith. that I worked with before as a coach, as a coach. These guys are top of the line guys, and Jake Paul has that wrestling mentality, strength wise, and he's out there. They say he's sparring, Mushin Kaysen that is going to be fighting in Saudi, and I think Antonio Tarver or one of these guys. He's sparring A-level guys. Yeah, he can fight.
And then just finally, you mentioned Creed 3, the premiere's coming up in March. Just talk to me a little bit about obviously working on set. And you mentioned earlier on Michael B. Jordan had asked you for, what it's like, the reality of boxing to make sure the film is more realistic. Just talk me through that conversation with Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, they always came to me for advice, and like Michael says, in Creed 2, I'm wrapping his hands. So I spend every day with him one-on-one, 6 weeks, 8 weeks at a time. So, we always have that chat. Same thing I did with KSI. I treated them like fighters, and they appreciated that. But he always asked for my advice because he knows that I brought the authenticity to that. But yeah, there was everything that he always asked. Who, the judges, the referee, what should they do? What should the reporters do, and this and that. So I literally, everything around the ring, I helped set them up to make it as authentic as possible. And, they're filming a documentary on my life now, from the fields to the garden, growing up as a farm worker, and then my goal was to make it to Madison Square Garden. But they interviewed Michael. He came forward and he said, Stitch is one of the pillars of Creed. And as long as I'm doing it, he's with me, so that's kind of a nice feeling. And I told him, I said, Michael, I love you like a son. We got a great relationship. I said, but I've been real blessed because I'm always that little farm worker that was picking tomatoes and peaches and cotton. Now I've done 3 movies with Rocky. I will have done that, and I've done 3 movies with Michael B. Jordan, and then I get to use my name in the movie. So yeah, what a blessing that is, bro. It blows my mind.
Do you look back at that and have to pinch yourself sometimes where you've come to?
100% all the time. I thank God every time I wake up that I'm here in Las Vegas. Been here 28 years. I came here to follow my dreams and didn't expect to be in this position, and things have just happened and they continue just to happen. I'm getting offers. I have a CBD company that I've created. They created a cream for cuts that helps in the healing process. And, they made a website, Stitch with a Z, Stitch Cuts at .com. But yeah, it works. So I endorsed that. I turned down a tequila company. And so, yeah, different things are coming my way based on me being a cut man. And to me, it just continues to blow my mind every day. Why me? But, it's funny. Real quick story, because I know we're leaving. I'm doing the first Creed movie with Stallone, and we're talking like this. And I said, Sly, I can't sleep at night. He goes, what's up? He goes, well, I'm in Philadelphia 6 weeks with you and Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler, Tessa. He says, hey, man, you earned it. And I said, wow, coming from him, that's true. And even in the movie Creed, a little behind the scenes is my name was Marcel. And I figured I'm gonna have to change it. But when it was time for Rocky to introduce us to Adonis, he says, oh, this is Stitch. He's the best cut man in Philadelphia. And deep inside, bro, my heart's going like, yes. But once again, Sylvester Stallone, I thanked him the next day. He says, no, it has to be authentic, So yeah, I'm blessed, bro. I'm, to be talking to you. I was talking to my neighbor outside, and I said, yeah, I got a Zoom call. From where? Says a guy from England. Really? Yeah. I said, yeah, so it blows my mind, to be recognized. And, like the Saudi prince wanted to meet me in Saudi Arabia. And yeah, I'm just that little farm worker guy that has followed his dreams, and dreams do come true.
Absolutely. And I think it'd be quite nice to finish on a piece of advice from you for those who are working hard, those who have got a dream, who are working and aspiring towards something. What's your message and advice to people who are chasing that dream?
Yeah, I always I try to educate as much as possible, and give back as much as possible, and and let people learn off of things. Because well, I'm sure you followed the same path. When you first started there, I always tell these kids, that line that we're scared to cross, if you don't cross it, you'll never get there. And I'm sure, when you started your show, that line that you were scared to cross, you crossed it. Now you're doing your podcast international, so that's what I tell the guys. And then I also with Anthony Joshua, I said, if you do it for the money, you do it for the wrong reasons. You got to have a love and a passion for this. And through your success, your finances will take hold of you. And so that's why I always tell them everything. I know because it worked for me, and it's not that hard of a formula, and everything is a yin and yang. So if you get a lot of the negatives, eventually the positive's going to come, because that's the way life is based, and you have to understand that. And numbers. I work everything on numbers. So that's the advice I give everybody.
Fantastic. It's brilliant. Well, Stitch, thank you very much for your time. We'll catch up again very soon, I'm sure. But again, it's been a pleasure as always.
Hey, come on. It's always a pleasure, man. And thanks for having me on. And Chip, maybe we'll see you in person again.
Absolutely. I certainly hope so.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.